Hello my friends, today's video is entitled Vegetable Soup. Today we're going to think about what we do every day as producing a vegetable soup. So in this soup go raw vegetables, raw potato, raw cabbage, raw carrots, raw celery, etc. So you have the same thing happening every day. You do things that we consider our raw vegetables, like you do your routines. Those are some raw vegetables. You do your zones, definitely raw vegetables. You do your basic weekly plan, raw vegetables. You do your clutter checks, raw vegetables. Or you could say that some of that is the actual prep work. So maybe you have your raw vegetables, that's your routines. Maybe your zones is you're prepping the raw vegetables, and your basic weekly plan is you're putting it all together in a melange, in a soup pot with the broth or whatever you're using and the spices, and you're cooking it. And in the end, all these raw things make one beautiful soup, one comforting, beautiful, healthy, nutritious soup. And that's what you're doing when you're working in your house every day. You can't leave something out, and you can't use a stone instead of the vegetables. I know there's the story of stone soup, but you know the true story of stone soup is that everyone adds to the stone soup a carrot, an onion, some celery, etc. So you can't say, I am going to make a vegetable soup, but instead of putting in the vegetables today or working on the routines, I'm going to skip that. So you're putting a stone in the pot. Okay, and now I'm going to skip this part too. I don't want to do my zone today. So you're not going to prep your vegetables, which are non-existent anyway. And then in the end, you'll say, oh, we got to have a soup. I got to say I did something today, so let me go buy groceries or do something in my basic weekly plan. Well, then all you've really done is put some water in there and some salt and pepper and cooked it, and you're going to end up with something very shy of a delicious, nutritious vegetable soup. You're going to end up with stone soup, water and salt in a stone that's boiled. So, and not the stone soup of the story. So every day you have to be cognizant of the fact that you are making a soup. What you're doing every day is producing something wonderful. You're producing something peaceful, comforting, and wonderful for your family, like a vegetable soup. It's not. You're doing your routines, which is good for you. When it's good for you, then it's good for your family. You are doing your zone, which is good for the whole family. You're streamlining your home. You're decluttering a little bit of it. You know, it takes a while. It's like making the David, Michelangelo making the David. He didn't just go and make the whole David in one day, or the David. He used little chips and little bits every day over months and months and months and months and months and months and months until he finally had the beautiful David, the little shepherd. Okay? So you have to do the same thing. And this is a great example. Did you know when Michelangelo made the David, or Michelangelo made the David, he started by carving a small little David in something real soft and nice. It might have been soap, I can't remember. He sunk it in water to the top. It was totally covered. Because the stone was such an odd shape, it was long and tall, he turned it on its side, and he turned the little soap, or whatever it was, soft thing, on its side underwater, and he took a little bit of water, and he could see the first little outline of the statue. So he looked at his piece of marble and he said, okay, I'm going to carve it just like that. And he carved that little bit and that little bit. And then he took a little bit more water out, and he carved a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until he had the whole David, and he stood it up on its end, and it was a beautiful, all in proportion, gorgeous statue, David, the little shepherd, with the sling over his shoulder, or whatever he's got over his shoulder. I've actually seen that in person in Florence. It was beautiful, but I think it was in Florence. I was only 15 or 16. But my point is, it takes a long time to do something, and there has to be a particular way in which you do it. Even though you're an artist, like he was, Michelangelo, beautiful artist, he still had to have structure to do this. And we need structure to do our things. So we have to have our planner. Where's my planner? We have to have our planner. Oh, it's over there. But anyway, I'll hold this one up. This is my financial planner. It works. You have to have your planner, and you have to know what you're doing today in your planner. You have to know what you're doing today, what you're doing in your zone. What little part are you doing? What little part are you carving out? Okay? What little part? So when I talk to my mentees and I say, what are you doing in your zone this week? And they say, well, I think I'm going to do this, and I think I'm going to do that. Well, what did you put in your planner? Well, let's get your planner out and plan this week and next week, because you can't go in unprepared. You can't go in without a roadmap, and that's your planner, and that's what you're going to do exactly in your planner, in your room. So the kitchen, for example. So today is Wednesday when I'm making this video. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you've got 3 days to work in your kitchen. 3 15-minute units if you're an at-home homemaker. On Saturday, 3 15-minute units, or 45 minutes on Saturday for payroll mentees. No, payroll flybabies. I beg your pardon. Payroll homemakers. Anyway, and the reason it's 3 this week instead of 4 is that Monday was a holiday, and we always take off on a holiday. We never work on a holiday. We only get so many holidays a year. Even if you don't live in the United States and you don't celebrate the 4th of July, you have some other holidays that you need to celebrate. So when you get to that day, you celebrate. And I suggest you take your birthday off. And you still get your free day. So if your holiday was on Monday and your free day was on Tuesday, you get both of them. Because there's only so many in the year, 9 or 10, that's it. Okay, not your husband's birthday, not your children's birthday, your birthday. All right, so this week we have 3 days. If you're not in the United States, then you'll have 4. And you should have already worked these by the time you see this video, some of them. Or if on Saturday you're doing 4. But it's 4 15-minute units in the kitchen, or 3 15-minute units in the kitchen. So that means you have to say, I'm going to clean out the utensil drawer. That'll take me 15 minutes. I'm going to clean out the dish cabinet. That'll take me 15 minutes. I'm going to clean out under the sink. That'll take me 15 minutes, and I'll only get half of it done. But that's all you're doing this week. But you have to go in with a plan. You just can't go in and say, well, I guess I'll work on the pantry. And then you end up with all your pantry on the kitchen table, and then the time's way long up, and you can't fix dinner, and it's a big giant mess. Don't do that to yourself. Have a plan to work 15 minutes. Always, always, when you're decluttering, start with the hidden clutter first. That means your cabinets, your counters, not your counters, your cabinets, your cupboards, your drawers, your closets, the things you can't see, because in there is your clutter, and that's why you have clutter on your countertops, on your table, on your side tables, because you can't fit them anywhere. There's no place for them to live. So start working on getting rid of some non-essential things. You either need to love it, use it, or need it, or a combination thereof. If you love it, then you probably are using it. Okay? All right, so that's how you do it. You work on those areas, and when you work in those areas, when you're doing that, you are chopping your vegetables to make your soup, or you are putting in your spices to make your soup, or you are putting the broth in and seasoning it and cooking it to make your soup. All those things. We have a 3-layer cake, or 3 parts to a pot of vegetable soup, okay? Routines, which include clutter checks, zones, which is this week is the kitchen, next week will be the other room and the in the hall bathroom, etc. And the basic weekly plan. So on Wednesday, your basic weekly plan is planning and desk day. And so you're going to plan out, just like I talked about, the 15-minute things you're going to do, what you're going to eat for meals, etc. That's how you make a pot of vegetable soup for your family. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope that this reinvigorates you. And I hope more than anything that you always remember that you are beautiful. So be beautiful. Bye.